What 60 beehives taught me about patience. You rush a beehive and it collapses. I learned that the hard way more than once over 15 years of keeping bees. And I've come to believe that lesson applies to a lot more than beekeeping. Got into bees almost by accident. I had a big garden behind the church, 70 feet by 100 feet, and it wasn't producing the way it should have. Took me a while to notice what was missing. That was bees. So I called a friend from church who'd kept bees for 20 years and asked if I could borrow a couple of hives for a summer just to fix my garden problem. It worked. At the end of the summer, I called him to come get his bees back. He told me to keep them. I laughed and told him I didn't want anything to do with beekeeping. Well, here we are 15 years later, and I've got 60 hives, probably more than a man my age has any business managing. Here's what those bees have taught me, and it took me a while to learn it. You've got anywhere from 35 to 60,000 bees in a single box, and you have to approach it with respect. You learn to read them before you act. You can tell just by lifting the lid whether they're in a mood to be worked with or not. Sometimes you can come back 15 minutes later and the whole mood's changed. But the biggest lesson is this: you can't rush them. You can't force a hive to produce before it's ready. You can't skip a step because you're impatient. If you try, you don't get faster results, you get a collapsed hive. I think we do this in every area of our life. We want the business to grow faster than it's built to grow. We want the relationship to heal faster than trust to actually rebuild. We want the season of waiting to be over before the waiting has done what it's supposed to do. But real things, the kind that actually last, don't work on our schedule. A hive builds up slowly, one comb at a time, one generation of bees at a time, and if you let it develop at its own pace, it thrives for years. Rush it, and you're starting over from nothing. I've had to relearn this lesson more than once, with the bees, and with pastoring a small church for decades where nothing happened quickly. And even now, at 77, with something brand new I'm building that isn't producing overnight results either. Every time I've tried to force something ahead of its time, it's cost me. Every time I've let it develop at its own pace, it's held up. I believe God built that principle into the bees on purpose. There's a system there. And as long as you work inside that system, things work the way they're supposed to. The moment you try to substitute your own idea for how it should go, things start to break down. I think that's true of a hive, and I think it's true of a life. So if you're in a season where things feel slow, where you're tempted to force something ahead of when it's ready, I just encourage you to let it build the way it's supposed to build. Not because slow is fun, because slow is usually how the things that last actually get made. If any of this speaks to you where you're at, I left a link below to what I've been building lately at my own pace, one step at a time. Take a look when you're ready. Thanks for spending part of your week with me, and I'll see you on Monday.